see here. Okay, the stream crashed, but we're gonna jump right back in where we left off. Good thing it just crashed, so I could jump right back in where we left off. But for those of you who are new to the stream or you're watching a replay, welcome to part 2 of day 2 of the How to Make Games Solo live stream. And I wanted to say a huge thank you. Huge thank you to the new students who've enrolled in full-time game dev. So before we jump into part 2 here, where I'm going to continue working on this beautiful sort of winter scene in the middle of a river to show you how to do solo game dev, I want to say a huge thank you to Martin, RZV, Joshua, Eric, Harbor, Steven or Stefan or Seven, excuse me, Kenny, Aaron, David, Joshua, Tado, Daniel, Manuel, Eric, Damien, and all the rest of you. I shouted you guys out last week. Welcome to Full-Time Game Dev. It means the world to me that you're willing to enroll in full-time game dev and learn from someone. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Learn from somebody like me. And by the way, if you want to join full-time game dev and you want to take what you've learned here today and turn it into something bigger, and also have a resource in 2026 to building a game studio as a solo game dev, check out the Black Friday event. There are just 5 days left and 17 hours left. I need some water to join full-time game dev. 50% off this massive 45, 60, I can't think it might be 50 or 60 hours program called Full-Time Game Dev, which teaches you how to get publishers, how to pitch a game, how to hit the Steam front page, how to make a game in Unity, how to code in Unity, how to make a game in Godot or Unreal if you want to learn those, 2D or 3D, how to reach out to the press and get press coverage, how to reach out to streamers, how to build an audience. It's massive. Now, it's taught by somebody who's actually done it, and that's me. I've actually done all of these things, whether it's getting funded on Kickstarter, whether it's hitting the Steam front page, getting very positive reviews on Steam, how to get press coverage. I've done that. I've been covered by Time Magazine, Washington Post, PC Gamer. But also you're going to get my 2D art program, my 3D art program completely free, and my YouTube course completely free, and also my course about how to reach out to streamers completely free. It says on the website here there's 60 seats left. I think there might only be 40 or maybe even 30. They started selling really fast yesterday. So check out the link below. Once this sale's over, it's over. Once the seats sell out, it's over. So click the link below to check it out. And we're going to jump right back in where we left off, guys. Do you remember what we were doing? We were actually just talking about how the movie, A Series of Unfortunate Events, how they use a backdrop. That whole thing was like handmade. And it was, the scenes were, the sets were in one soundstage. And they would paint these beautiful backdrops that created depth, a ton of depth. And so that's what I've done here. That's what I've done here with this skybox here. I've just added this very subtle kiss of trees. Very subtle kiss of trees. Do I hear a big ego? That's the thing about me, guys. Half of me is a big ego, and then half of me is one of the most insecure people you ever meet. There's a lot about me that I hate. I'm just being real. There's a lot about me that I hate. And I one of the things I hate about myself is that I come across like a jackass. And I wish that I didn't. Because I'm one of the most insecure people you ever meet. Okay. But yeah, this subtle kiss of trees, this is just here so that if we ever see over the horizon for any reason, like if we ever get to like maybe jump right here, it's like, wow, there's a forest over there. Ooh, ah. Okay. So far, so good. This is driving me absolutely crazy. But we're going to do the same process we were doing in the previous live stream, part 1 of day 2, which all of this is a series on my just go to the live tab and you'll see all of these. There's 3 episodes for this workshop. But we're going to do the same process here, okay? We're going to kill the normal maps. We're making an indie game, okay? And so, in my opinion, If you can get rid of the channels in a material and just focus on the albedo, you're going to save yourself some time. And also, you're going to unify the look. You're going to make it, we're making it kind of look stylized and retro. I'm going to kill the smoothness. Okay? I'm going to go to the document here, the PNG, and I'm actually going to save it as a PSD. That's always the first step I do. Save it as a PSD, bring that new PSD in to the albedo. Now I can open it up in Photoshop and adjust the coloring so it matches the scene. There it goes. Already getting matchy-matchy. You'll notice the texture doesn't match, right? We'll make it match, I promise. One of the things you can do, and we did this in the previous live stream, and again, that's part 1 of day 2. One of the things we did was we learned that, okay, if we're going to asset flip, we can actually take the texturing of various textures we've already flipped, like this one here. I could take that texture and actually, weirdly enough, add it to other textures, like this here, just to create a little bit of a grunge. Just unify it a little bit. And if I save that, you'll notice that now it kind of fits better, doesn't it? Do you guys see that? And we just added that stone texture to the boards. It's like, what? It's like, huh? But that looks great. Hey, let's scale this up here. This is driving me crazy. Now, in the previous episode, for those of you who were in the live stream earlier, you can recall that we chose the lower LOD of this asset. Because a lot of assets will come with LODs, and that's level of detail. And they'll come with 3 meshes embedded in one. And I'm thinking, well, why not just use the lowest LOD? Because we're making a retro looking game anyway. Who cares? Right? So now we have these trees that have this sort of crispy, crunchy retro vibe. Okay? All right, one thing I want to focus on here is I'm ready to get some of that pop of color in. You guys want to see that pop of orange? And also, let's add a little bit of stone over here. This is driving me crazy. I want a stone behind this to sort of frame this shot. So this is what we were talking about during the presentation portion of the workshop, is using composition, thinking like a director. So I'm going to compose this so it looks interesting. Create a cool composition here so that behind this is some depth. And it's also framed by these stones. We're just thinking about where the player is going to be, right? Maybe right here I could see some depth. Does that make sense? All right. Are you guys curious what this used to look like? Let me show you what this used to look like. And this isn't a joke. And by the way, I'm really excited and having a good time with you guys. This has been a lot of fun. So this is what it looked like. I'm serious. That's what it looked like. For those of you who were in the previous stream, that's what we started with, right? And no, I didn't try and make that look horrible. Those were the assets that I got. These are all free assets. So that's before, and then this is after. This is just the glory, the fun, and the glory of game dev. I am just having so much fun, guys. That looks like trash. We're going to make that look better. All right, let's go ahead and open up this. I kind of want this to be bigger. And frankly, a little, no, not taller, but definitely bigger. I want it to be kind of daunting. Sort of. But we don't want the player to get to this. We just want it to be something that's interesting to look at. So I'm going to put that over there. Very cool. Hey, that needs a big tree by it. So I'm going to copy that, Control C. Watch this. Control V, Control F. And it positions it over here. And I can just put a big tree next to it. Tall tree next to it. Make sense? Alrighty. Man, it's a shame that stream ended. We lost a lot of people, and that's okay. Why does that have normal maps on it? Get out! No normal maps. And does that have a normal map? It looks like it, but it's not. Okay. All right. So we got a cool tree there. That's actually looking great. Let's put one over here as well and rotate it. Watch this, guys. Oh yeah, baby. I love to make things. I'm having so much fun. Okay. That's a little big, honestly. And I kind of want to just stack it. Just for the purposes of this, I feel like it needs to have like some height to it. I wonder if we can get away with that. No, it's dumb. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. What is Thomas talking about with color? Well, in the previous stream, you'll remember that we had a color scheme, okay? And here's the color scheme. I just like to draw out the color scheme in a Photoshop document, okay? Well, we've used these colors, and these colors determined what the color was for all of our different textures. And we need to fix this grass in a sec. Sorry, my voice is going. We're going to use this orange color. And it's going to tell us what this color needs to be. Okay? And if any of you are watching this and you're thinking, he's just ripping off Half-Life. We talked about it in the previous stream. We're trying to replicate the Half-Life scene as a solo. Trying to show you guys how solo developers can quickly use assets to make something that looks gorgeous. It's a new era for game devs where you can make, I shouldn't say that word, bad assets look amazing. Now, Thomas, but that looks like AAA 20 years ago. So what? As a solo dev, that's awesome. All right, so we're going to bring this, we're going to save this as a PSD, and I'm not going to do a colorization. I'm not going to colorize this to be orange. Instead, I'm going to make the blue orange. So I'm going to grab the blues, crank up the saturation. We're going to need the cyans, actually. Crank up the saturation and go orange. Hyper orange. Look at that. This is going to look so good. I love my life, and I love my wife, and I love the Lord, and I love you guys, and I love doing this. I love making this game. And this game, I've been working on this game for an hour, and I'm having a blast. I love what I'm doing. So let's drag the PSD in here, save it, and already, look, color theory wins again. What? What? Thomas was right? Yes. Color theory wins again, baby. I want to look at it in game view. Nice. Can we crank up the saturation? How much saturation can we crank up before we start losing the fidelity of it? That looks great. And there's no sound yet, guys. There's no particles. There's no post-processing. And by the way, I highly recommend, as a professional indie game dev / YouTube shill, I highly recommend that you make your scene look amazing with no post-processing. Get it looking incredible with no post-processing first. In fact, I'm even tempted to not use post-processing entirely because I really like the crispness of this. I don't mind that water. We're just going to keep it as is, man. Okay, we need to do the same thing with that house there. In fact, I'm going to use a baby blue. Thomas, that looks just like Half-Life. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Man, chill. I'm going to put this house over here, actually. Apparently there's a dead building there. Let's fix that. House ruined, yeah, and then this right here. That's all one object. There we go. Okay, so I could take this and I kind of feel like it needs to be bigger. And we're going to put it right here or something. And this is where composition comes in. We're going to think, okay, if the player's right here, do they really want to see a house? Maybe. We'll see. All right. So is the texture even on there? No, there's no texture currently. So let me make sure I add the texture. This is because of the URP issue. So we have the normal map on there, which we're going to get rid of. This is the house abandoned. This is the diffuse. There it is. Oh, it looks so good. And I'm going to turn off the normal. We don't want normals. Already, baby. So good. Turn off the normals. What about this right here? The roof, we're going to make this a vibrant pop of orange. This is going to be a diffuse. Zero that out, baby. Turn off the emission. I don't know why emission's on. The abandoned house, where is that? There's an abandoned house somewhere. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. Look at this. I'm going to set the center to the pivot or to the global, and then it should be able to allow me to. What's going on here? Hold on. I'm going to zero out the position of the. I don't want the ruined house. Okay, that's just too much for me right now. Hey, that looks good. I like that. I kind of want that over here. We're just using composition, guys. We're thinking about, okay, how do we make this scene look more interesting? The cool little shed over here. Just like that. And guys, we're going to use color theory. Okay. What is the opposite color of orange? Something like a bluish green, like a teal, which, by the way, is used frequently in Half-Life. And I will say Half-Life probably is responsible for a lot of my color theory choices. They use a lot of desaturation and high saturation. They create contrast between the two. So there's that. My theory is, though, we're going to have to get a little creative here. We have this roof, and I could go, okay, well, maybe we're going to make it like a rusted orange roof. So I'm going to just get the roof portion of the diffuse or the albedo, and I'm going to crank it up here, and I'm going to select inverse, and then just do that. Now, I know what I said earlier, which is I don't like to use colorize, but sometimes you just gotta when you're flipping assets. I'm going to save this as a PSD. Why? Because a PSD allows me to edit it really quickly on the fly while in play mode and sort of almost do color theory while I'm playing the game. I'm going to select the material here, and I want to make sure I bring in that new PSD. There it is. That didn't work. Well, apparently there is no roof in that UV. Ah, yes. Okay, so we need to do this one. So this is fine. We're going to do a PSD for this as well. All right. Right here, same thing here, guys. I'm going to do hue, saturation, shift. I wonder if we could get away with doing this. Maybe. Let's try it. And just bring in the new PSD. That looks kind of cool, doesn't it? Get rid of that shine. Ugh. Check it out. Looks pretty cool, huh? I really like that. And for this, which is this right here, I think what we could do is go with that baby blue. Sort of a sky blue, soft baby blue. Let's try that and see what it does. Okay, that didn't do anything, and I'm trying to figure out why. Is it because I'm not bringing in the PSD? There's the PSD. There we go. Okay, so that's not going to do it for me. So what I might want to do is I'm going to actually just colorize the exterior, which is this. And we're going to do baby blue. There it is. Yes. Thomas, you have the best color theory in town. Do you think? Do you think? Do you think I do? Yes, you do. Okay. Save it. And I like that. That looks cool. I don't love that. Something about that bothers me. Let's see here. What's going on? Yes. So that's that roof portion. But then there's also this right here, which is that. Yes. That shouldn't be orange. I don't know why I assumed that. There we go. All right. Let's enter play mode. Take a look. Okay, so that orange is now too vibrant to my right. And also that's too vibrant as well. We don't really need it that orange now that I'm thinking about it. So we're going to go to, hue saturation. We're going to go to our reds and just drop it down. There we go. That's much better. And then up here, for our roof here, we don't need it that saturated. That's ridiculous. Save it. Maybe a little bit more. That's great, guys. Awesome. Okay, now if you ever wanted to get your, one of the big problems with adding trees to a skybox, let me show you one of the big problems. If I add these trees to my skybox, and then I want to rotate my skybox, and by the way, I can do it with this script called my level startup script. I'm sorry, it's not on my level startup. It's no, I can't. I can add a rotate skybox script to my startup if I want to, and set the rotate speed to something like 5, and it will rotate my skybox for me. It's just a simple update where the skybox is rotating. Okay, we could set it to like 0.2, and it looks like the clouds are moving now. And by the way, this comes back. This is sort of calling back to what we talked about in the webinar or the workshop an hour and a half ago, which is adding interactivity or even just movement to your scene instead of stuff. When in doubt, add movement instead of stuff. Okay, that looks great, but the problem is that the skybox trees down there are moving. So what I would prefer is I'd rather just get rid of the trees and just be okay with it not having trees at the skybox, inside the skybox, which I'm fine with. That looks great. Now you guys are going to be kind of shocked by what sound will do to this scene. But for now, we want to sort of finalize the coloring here. Is there any other stuff we need to finalize the coloring? The stones are kind of, I don't know why, but they're kind of driving me crazy and I can't put a finger on it. So let's crank up the contrast and the brightness and see if that solves the problem. Nope, that's not it. What's driving me crazy? Maybe they're not casting, no, they're casting shadows. Oh, seamless textures. We need to talk about seamless textures. You'll notice that that's not seamless, is it? Well, Thomas, I need to find a seamless texture. No, you don't. Just got to do this. I'm going to merge these layers together. I'm going to crop it so that it's one clean square, duplicate it, transform, flip vertical. And by the way, you might be thinking, Thomas is crazy for saying normal maps and specular and metallic increase dev time by 20%, or at least the art time by 20%. I'm not crazy, because the problem is that when you make a change to a texture, you have to change it 4 times or 3 times. Specular, if you have a specular map, metallic map, and normal. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm doing it for Twisted Tower, but in the future, I'm probably not going to do it, especially if I'm solo. Changes like this, you have to reflect those changes 3 times through. So watch this. Okay? So that's going to loop perfectly vertically. I'm going to merge those together, do it again, transform, flip horizontal, fade it out here. So now I'm going to get a perfect loop. See? Now, you might see that rippling there. It's not going to be as bad when I'm down on the surface level, but if that's still a problem, I can do 15 by 15. See? Same is true with the stone. It's not looping perfectly or tiling perfectly, so I'm going to merge those layers together, transform, flip, horizontal, fade out the mask, fade out with a mask, and then transform vertical, fade out with a mask. That one's a little much there, so I'm going to make it a little bit more faint. That's weird looking. Hang on. That'll do. There we go. Seamless. Hey now. Looks good. I'm not seeing any other seams in any of the other textures, not really. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to crank up the contrast of the sand. For some reason, I feel the urge to crank up the contrast of the sand, so I'm going to do it. It's just something in my body said, crank it up, baby. And I was right. Okay. Something is also telling me to crank up the contrast in the grass, so we're going to do it. And I was right. Okay. Probably need to go darker, though. There we go. Crank it up, though. Nice contrast of the color. Maybe a little bit brighter. There we go. Yay, Thomas, you win. Thanks, guys. All right, I'm going to enter play mode and feel this out. Sometimes you just have to sit and feel. Okay, those I need to fix. And then we're going to do some pixelation. You're tempted, I'm sure, to crank up the saturation entirely. Don't do that. We're going to use lighting to crank up the saturation, not the textures itself or not post-processing. I may want to add a little bit of warmth to the skybox, though, but not yet. Hang tight. Skybox is moving too quickly. I'm going to set to 0.1. Okay, so do I need to warm up the skybox? I don't want it to be, if I do warm it up, I don't want it to be monochromatic. That would be a big mistake. Instead, what I might want to do instead is crank up the highlights, which I don't even know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to just go with my gut here.